Okay, sorry, Coopers. We are back now. We solved our problem. We have Peyton here with us. My first question was, he already said it twice, so I'm sorry for him, but we will say it again. Peyton, who are you and what do you do? I think that this one is the last time we're going to hear your description.
So, did you start a new live stream? Can you
Where?
send me that link out so I can share it?
Yeah, I'm going to send you right now to your Twitter accounts.
Okay, yep, I see it right here.
You have it?
Yep, I got the link. I'm going to go ahead and share this on Twitter and then I'll answer your question.
Perfect, of course. Now we're live and I think we have everything solved.
All right, making this tweet.
Perfect. Now we're all live tweeting and everything, so people will see the real face of doing this, and you have to tweet and make some promo to make sure that the people is here watching us. So
yeah, well, I tweeted out the old link, so I got to fix it. You know?
Yeah, of course. We're doing the back scenes of the podcast.
Yep, exactly. So who am I?
Yeah.
So my name is actually Peyton. I run a YouTube channel called Big Pay, and I make educational videos for the Cardano ecosystem. And I actually got my start really in 2017. I wasn't doing anything other than learning at the time. I watched Charles's TED Talk video where he mentioned over 50% of the world is unbanked. And that was just, shocking to me to think that, there are so many people in this world that don't have the same access to financial services as I do. And, his passion about, banking the unbanked, it really spoke to me. The idea of the exponential benefit that can be provided through blockchain and, through the internet, just by offering basic financial services and, seeing exponential growth from that. From there, I watched the Charles Hoskinson whiteboard video. And, that's where, I really started doing, like the idea of proof of stake. You're taking, the, useless resource cost and removing that, and then actually taking what's value deterministic, which is the ADA token, and making that the new hash power.
Okay.
And this idea of proof of stake, it felt so much more fair to me. I had a miner at the time that I spent, I'd say $500 to $1,000 on, and I loved it. I was, making money. I love technology. I always built computers as a kid, and it really spoke to me. But this idea of, well, let's remove the GPUs out of it because they're just wasting energy for no reason. And let's actually, have ADA be that stake. And then I realized that instead of having to have $50 million to, process a lot of transactions, what you actually need is reach. You need to be able to reach people and provide value to people. And then in return, you will process their transactions. That's the idea of being a stake pool operator on Cardano. And I'm so passionate about it. It struck me in that moment in 2017. And I knew that, however long it would take, I would be making videos for Cardano and educating people, and then also building a stake pool to process transactions for people on what I thought was going to be the best cryptocurrency in the future. So then fast forward to December of 2019. This is when I first ever started my stake pool on the incentivized testnet. And it was a different, Cardano node software. And we essentially tested the network. My stake pool is called Pay ADA. I did that for about 6 or 7 months. I learned a lot from it. And then about 4 months later, there was something on Cardano called the Friends and Family Testnet. And this is where we actually tested the first ever version of stake pools as you know it. This idea of Cardano node, you have stake pools that you delegate to, the process transactions. Essentially, the proof of stake on Cardano that we use now is what I was testing with 22 other people. Charles invited me, and he invited 21 other people and taught us how to be stake pool operators. And from that, I made a lot of great connections. And then what came of that is my stake pool, Bloom. Bloom was actually the stake pool that minted the 8th block ever on Cardano, minted by stake pools. And we've been educating people from the beginning. We have over 20,000 different addresses delegated to us right now, so our reach has been far and wide. And from then I started my Mycelial Gallery, which is an NFT project with utility. It allows people to collect NFTs and then burn them for a new NFT. We were actually the first to ever do burning on Cardano. And then recently I've joined the Drip Drops team, which is a token distribution platform for Cardano. But really, my sole focus now is on making educational videos for people and then, helping with those 3 projects there.
Sounds great. It was quite a good story. You started, let's say, on the beginning of Cardano. You started with Charles. That's quite, let's say, a success, and it's quite good. Not many people can say that they were with Charles, so that's quite cool. And then you made all the way to your YouTube channel, to your own pool, etc. So it's quite cool. I would like to ask you, um, when you started, let's say, your pool, what do you think was the biggest? I don't want to say problem. What was the biggest difference or the biggest thing that you found out that was completely new or different from something that you have made on your life before? So you have to say, okay, this is really, really new. I don't know how to face this, but obviously you found a solution.
So it's a great question. I would honestly say the hardest thing for me, was learning how to run a stake pool. The technical aspect behind it, and a lot more problems arose in the future that I wasn't anticipating. But first and foremost, the hardest part was learning, how to actually build a stake pool, learning, Linux, and because I didn't know how to, run a Linux server before the incentivized testnet. I learned all of this really on a 6-month period before moving into that. So the technical aspect was very hard for me. The technical aspect, though, of running a stake pool is just one little tiny piece of it. Marketing is almost more important than how tech savvy you are. It's very important that you mint all of your blocks and that you're good for the network. However, as far as what's going to bring value to your stake pool and what's going to allow you to process more transactions is marketing. And that was a big learning process for me. But it was hard to put my face out there too. So I would say those two things: learning the tech side, and then putting myself out there.
What made you decide to have your, let's say, your face revealed to the world and to this YouTube channel to inform people, apart obviously from the stake pool?
So it was actually Charles. He made this. This was my first ever interaction with Charles. He made this AMA at the time, and it was during the incentivized test. And I want to say it was in March or February. I was making videos at the time, but they didn't have my face in them.
Okay.
And he said, "Hey, if you're a stake pool operator in Cardano," and at this time I had little to no stake. It was just me and my own pool, and I wasn't making any ADA off of it. And he said, "Hey, if you're a stake pool operator, make a video of you talking about your pool, what you do and what you think of Cardano." So I, set up my phone. I still have the video, but I literally recorded it with my phone like this and said, "Hi, my name is Peyton. I'm a stake pool operator, and this is what I'm passionate about." And he actually retweeted that video. So that was really the big step for me. In that moment, I made a Twitter for the first time because I hate social media. I think it's bad for your brain. But I, made a Twitter at the time and posted that video, and then the cat was out of the bag. And I realized that, people can relate with you more and also, trust you more when you put your face out there, because I am accountable for, what I say and what I do and the offerings that I have, when it comes to, running a business or customers or delegates or education. I'm accountable for what I say and I do. And it's because I put my face out there. I don't think everyone has to do that, but I think it's very important.
I have to agree with you in this one, because in this crypto space, let's say, we all know it's full of scams and things that we would like not to see. So when you see a face on a project, when you see a face on something that you would like to believe, it gives you some calm, it gives you some security that this project will be safe in a way. So I think that just showing your face was a great step in this case. And I would like to ask you another question. What do you think about Cardano NFTs? Because they are quite new. They are quite new. So what's your opinion about it? Do you think that they will go, I don't want to say as high as the Ethereum NFTs, but do you think it will have the same wave in a global blockchain technology and everything as the Ethereum ones that we have now?
So without speaking on price, I think, Cardano NFTs are actually better than Ethereum NFTs. And I think that more people will eventually have Cardano NFTs than Ethereum NFTs. I know that's a hot take, but I'll tell you one reason why. The average price of Ethereum NFTs is $300. And a lot of that is because of the cost of minting it and the cost of sending it. Whereas on Cardano, the average price of an NFT is anywhere from 20 to 60 ADA. And the transaction fee for that is really, if you're going to count the MEN UTXO, the transaction fee is going to be about 1.5 ADA. So NFTs are so much more accessible on Cardano than Ethereum. So when we see this mass adoption, the average person is not willing to spend $300 on an NFT on a JPEG, but they are interested in spending, say $20 to $50 on something. I personally believe because of the accessibility of NFTs, Cardano will do better than Ethereum long-term, not in terms of price, but in terms of active users and utility of those NFTs.
Oh, okay. I would like to ask you something that is really related in a matter. Do you own any Ethereum NFT right now?
No.
No. Have you ever tried?
So I've always liked the Bored Apes. I really have. I've always thought they were cool. And I saw them a while ago. It was before I really, knew about NFTs. I could probably get one for like $10,000 at the time, but I was like, that's too expensive. I can't pay that for a picture, and lately I was like, it would be cool to have one of the Bored Apes. They've just done so much. So I went and looked at them recently, and the cheapest one was $80,000. And I'm like, oh, I guess I'm never going to own one, but I wouldn't be against owning an Ethereum NFT. And if there was a project that I was really excited for, I would do it. But I own a lot of Cardano NFTs, and I paid very little for those transaction fees to receive those NFTs. And it really hurts that, when I'm spending $30 or $40 on a transaction fee, that value is just going to a miner somewhere and not the person actually making the project.
Do you think that right now with the Cardano NFTs, they will all have utility? I mean, the NFT will have some utility in the real world or in the ecosystem? Or do you think that they will be, as some projects are on the Ethereum blockchain, that they are just a picture of somebody and they will like to sell this picture?
So one thing that's very interesting about Cardano is the NFTs are actually native to the blockchain. They're layer one. Ethereum NFTs actually come from a smart contract. And because they're layer one, I think they have a bit more utility than they do on Ethereum. And, here's one real world use case. And I will say real world because I think a decentralized exchange is a real use case. Being able to exchange two parts of value, with anyone in the world that you don't know in a trustless way is a real world use case, in my opinion. And, at Bloom, we were actually voted in by the community to run a part of the Sunday Swap DEX. We run a software called the Scooper software, and we actually facilitate the swapping on Cardano's decentralized exchange Sunday Swap. And what's very interesting about that is the license that we actually have to be able to do the swaps is actually an NFT itself.
Okay, that's cool.
So there, there is no picture attached to that, and there is no value there. It is a NFT license to be able to run a software that facilitates the operation of the DEX. So when it comes to, real world utility, I think it's already happening now. There's one, real world use case that's on a DEX, but I think moving forward, there will be a tremendous amount of use cases. I'm actually hosting an event for the Cardano blockchain called the Rare Bloom. And, we're actually, giving out NFT tickets to people. And while they do have cool artwork and they look like a cool ticket, this is a ticket to a real world event. So yeah, I think moving forward, I think both Ethereum and Cardano NFTs are going to have a lot more real world use cases, especially if ETH can get those transaction fees down, because you don't want to use, cryptocurrency is a decentralized database, right? And if you're going to use the database for your ticket management, it can't cost you $30 per ticket.
Of course.
So if Ethereum gets that cost down, I think both Cardano and Ethereum are going to have real world use cases relative to NFTs, because all they are is a token. That's it. It's a one of one token. So anything that, is you need to verify, it makes sense as long as the decentralized database that is the blockchain is cost efficient relative to running your own centralized database.
Regarding all that you said and about the future and how it's going to perform Cardano with NFTs, etc., where do you think that will be Cardano in 5 years? If you have now to guess, to do a bet, where do you think it will be?
You say, where will Cardano be in 3 years?
Yeah, I don't mean by price, I mean by technology, by how they're performing. Do you think that they will reach, I don't know, the top one on blockchains and all people will love Cardano? All Ethereum people will move to Cardano. I just want, let's say, some guesses of how you think the Cardano is going to be in 5 years.
In in 5 years, I personally think Cardano will be number two. I
Okay.
think that
After Bitcoin.
after Bitcoin,
Okay.
and I think Ethereum will be number three or still in the top 10. Cardano has reached a point of network effect that I never thought we would have gotten so soon. There are so many people that know about Cardano. When I go into, a kava bar in Florida, there are
Okay.
people in there that have ADA. It is
Yeah.
becoming at least in the United States, a well-known name. And I think that it is a lot more accessible than Ethereum and Bitcoin because of those fees. And also because of the price point. For new investors, they look and see ADA is only $1 instead of 2,000 or 40,000. That little niche is very attractive. Also, the being able to receive your staking rewards in your wallet, I think, is a big part of ADA's
Yeah.
success, because everyone is being paid to be a part of this network. It is not just miners on Bitcoin or miners on Ethereum that are getting paid to participate. Every single person that purchases ADA, they can stake it from their wallet, keep it in their own wallet without giving up the custody of their funds, and then be paid to do so. And once people do that, what they do is they tell their friends. I personally have introduced thousands of people into Cardano. My whole family, all of my friends, they're all interested in Cardano and they're telling their friends about it. And the more projects that are being built on Cardano, I think the bigger it will grow, because even without having full decentralization through Catalyst, even without having scaling, look at how much Cardano has grown in 6 months, a year, and in 2 years. The growth has been exponential, and I don't think it's going to slow down anytime soon. And I think Cardano or Ethereum, it's because it's so costly. I think that is the biggest, the biggest thing hurting it, and that doesn't even go into, the fact that, Cardano uses a formal language or has a better smart contracting language, really just in the terms of price and accessibility. I think Cardano will be at the top. And also because of the community and the network effect that has been had. The Solana community is nothing like the Cardano community. The Avalanche community is nothing like the Cardano community. There are so many people here passionate and willing to educate that I think this will just keep growing and expanding. And while you may have a cheaper currency, for cheaper transactions, they don't have the network effect and community and the growth that we currently have now.
Well, I think it's just regarding the community, it's quite good, I think, to when you go on Twitter and you see maybe communities of Ethereum, they are not, I think, as united as people in Cardano. In Cardano, people always support ADA, always support new projects. They are always, let's say, up to improve the network. And during when there was this big fall 1 month ago, we're still in a fall, but 1 month ago, many people on Twitter that were, let's say, many influencers on Ethereum made some tweets say, hey, I just checked Cardano community and it's quite cool. I think I'm going to spend some time here. So that's a cool part too. And I would like to ask you a question regarding the top 1, top 3, and top 4 that you said. I would like to know, it's a question that I always ask to my guests. I would like to know which are your 5 top investments on your portfolio. I don't need to know the number. I just want to know which coins, which cryptos are you holding right now?
Yeah. So at number 1, in terms of percentage, it's definitely ADA. I have more ADA in terms of value and percentage than I have of anything else.
Sounds
Part
logical.
of that is because I believe in the success of Cardano long term. I believe that in terms of and no financial advice here, but in terms of risk and reward, Cardano far outweighs that. And I would say second to that would be Bitcoin.
Okay.
Third to that would be real estate.
Do you mean virtual real estate?
Not virtual real estate, real
Okay.
real estate.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about the virtual real estate stuff. I'm sure that
It's quite
there's going
new.
to be some, yeah, there's going to be some cool stuff, but I own a property, on an island, and there can only be so much property on that. Whereas, in the metaverse, we can just, prop up a new island. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I just, I've always really been interested in real estate. I have, because it's something real and tangible, and all of my other investments are not real or not tangible,
True.
so,
Yeah.
I really like real estate as number 3 there. Number 4, I would honestly say Cardano NFTs. I know that sounds crazy, but
Okay.
that's the truth. I got a lot of NFTs at mint price, and I don't, haven't have plans on selling them anytime soon. So I would say, in terms of value, I would say number 4 is probably Cardano NFTs. But would I go
Okay.
recommend somebody to invest in that? No. I just got them at mint price, and they've just gone up a lot to make it an actual percentage in my portfolio. Number 5, I would say probably a layer 2 of some sort on Ethereum, something
Okay.
using like ZK rollups, maybe like Immutable X, or, there's another one that I really like that I can't think of. But ETH, ETH needs to be in the top 5. I personally, don't hold a lot of ETH, but, to state that, if you're getting into cryptocurrency, to state that ETH's a bad investment is completely wrong. However, instead of investing in ETH, I'd probably invest in a layer 2 with ZK rollups, because as soon as you use Ethereum, the first thing is, how do I not pay so much, and because Ethereum has that network effect, more and more people are going to start to use it. So yeah, I would say that. As far as Cardano native tokens that I like, I personally, I DCA into our Dana Sunday token. I also have, a good bit of, and I'm going to keep, just building up Sunday over time. Really like Sunday Swap. Another Cardano token I'm interested in is Genius Yield as well. Genius Yield is a yield optimizer for Cardano, but also a DEX. Another one that I have some of is World Mobile Token as well. I like the idea of connecting the unconnected, because how can you bank the unbanked without doing so? We plan to run a World Mobile stake pool for them. But yeah, I would say those are my current investments thus far.
Okay. Sounds like a big portfolio. So you have a lot of different things. So that's quite cool. Most of them.
I have a lot. I'm like a. It's
most
hard
of
to
them are
manage
in crypto.
sometimes.
Yeah, most of them are in crypto, but
too.
what?
I think
Sorry.
it's important. I think it's important to also have some USDC as well, with how crazy these markets are. So in my top 5, if I can add a 6 in there, I would say cash as a hedge against a big catastrophic event. On a 5-year timeline, I'm not too worried, but on a 6-month timeline, you never know what can happen.
True. Now we saw this big dump, let's say, this bear market for the last month, and now we're still on it. So I would like to ask you about this market. When do you think that this bear market will end, and why? It's another guess, but you have been in the Cardano ecosystem for a long time, so probably you have some ideas, or maybe
So I personally think that this bull market will end as soon as the Fed, stops printing as much money as they are. Okay. So then the question becomes, will they do that? They're saying they are. They're saying that they're going to pull all of this value out of, bonds, the stock market. They're also saying that they're going to raise rates. They're saying that they're going to do a lot. Biden also recently came out and stated that he's going to sign an executive order on how, crypto should be regulated. We just saw Justin Trudeau from Canada do the same thing. And I think the executive order will be similar. So I think that I don't think the bull market's over. I really don't. I definitely think that we could go lower. I think we could reach, a low that maybe people aren't expecting. However, we still have a whole, year's worth of inflation to catch up on. From my understanding, the M1 money supply, it takes a year before it's really in circulation. And, we're seeing the inflation now from a year before now, or 8 months ago from now. And I think that the market, sadly, is controlled by the federal government, not the federal government, but the Federal Reserve specifically. And I think that, any investor that I talk to, they don't talk about whether something is, profitable. They talk about, is the Fed printing money or not? Will they stop printing money? So the question to me then becomes, will the Fed continue printing money? Do they have to continue so we don't see a catastrophic crash? Some people say yes, some people say no. And to take this even more specific to Cardano, I personally believe everything just relies on the Fed. If the Fed is going to print, the markets are going to go up, go up. However, because Cardano is fairly small in terms of Bitcoin and Ethereum,
Yeah.
There could be some growth in Cardano as the scalability comes out, as there are more projects and there's more users, and over 70% of the ADA is locked up in staking, and then another percentage is locked up in a DEX. Eventually there could be some sort of a supply shock where Cardano will make gains on Bitcoin. And
Okay, I think that we lost now Peyton. I think his camera.
print
Okay,
money.
your camera is just frozen, so I can hear you now. Perfect.
Okay, are we good?
Yeah, I will good. I was listening to you, so no worries.
Okay.
Okay, so now I think it's moment to move to some questions, because I have some questions for you and I have some questions for us, obviously. So, first question that in this case is for us. They were asking, are the time frames of the roadmap realistic? What is happening behind the scenes? So this is a question that we always receive. The time frames of the roadmap, they are realistic. We are now developing the wallet that we will launch very soon. We will inform about the ICO soon, and we will inform about the audit soon. So all the dates of the roadmap are realistic, and we are now following them. So you don't have to worry about it, because we are on time and we are doing everything on time. So we are good to go right now. Then somebody's asking if the wallet is almost ready. Yes, it is almost ready, and soon we will announce it. So we are quite happy to announce our own wallet, and soon you have some announcements about the wallet. Then we have a question for you, Peyton. I will be curious to hear if big pace is a major challenge ahead of Cardano, or does he think the road is clear?
Is the question, do I think that there's going to be a major challenge moving forward?
True. A major challenge ahead of Cardano, or does he think that the road is clear?
The road's certainly not clear. There are three main challenges that we're going to have to overcome. One is governments. ADA, it kind of sounds like a security. I mean, you buy it and then you earn more ADA each epoch. So they could just come out and deem ADA as a security. That's definitely one major roadblock there. Also so I'll just keep this as one. Biden, as I just mentioned, that's another major roadblock. And that's not even just the United States, other countries as well. I just mentioned Canada. So I think that's the number one roadblock. Number two is scaling. It takes time, for your transactions to go through when the network's congested. So yeah, it's very important that, we solve scaling in the right way. Because that's, in my opinion, the hardest problem to solve. If it were easy, then Ethereum would have already solved it. So that's the second major roadblock and challenge that we're going to be going through this year. However, Charles has always stated that, correctness and security is most important, and then scaling comes after. And that's exactly how it's happening. We're seeing these rollouts where, block size increases, blue to script memory is increasing. So, I'm pretty confident on that. We can also see some community scaling there as well too. IOG doesn't have to do everything, and the community is getting so large that it's possible for there to be community scaling. The third major roadblock, I would say, is the transition into Voltaire. Cardano, while the block production is decentralized, the voting is still centralized through, in my opinion, IOG. So the transition, from where we are now to a fully decentralized and self-governing system and self-upgrading system is probably going to be one of the hardest things ever. I haven't seen anyone ever do that before, especially at this scale. So. Okay,
so I think you answered correctly the question. You gave your points. So it was quite clear. So now I'm just checking with my phone, so that's why I'm looking down. We have some questions just saying hi to you. The big pay is in the house. And some people saying that they can learn more about Cardano with you because you're an OG of the community. And then there
You
are
can say
some.
that, not me, but I appreciate it.
Then we have another question say, what does BigPay think about the potential of KubeCoin, not as part of Cardano, but as its own thing?
So to be honest with you, I haven't done my proper research to be able to make a good answer out of that. You guys reached out to me for an interview, and I love speaking with people in the community, but I haven't had the time recently to do the investigation on that. So I can definitely answer that one later in the future.
We can speak on the future then. Then we have our CEO talking too, and then we have some people supporting the project, etc. So for now, I think we made a whole interview. We talked about a lot of topics: Cardano, NFTs, crypto, Ethereum. So we talked about a lot of topics. So before ending the interview, would you like to add something or to say something to the audience, or just do your final statement, let's say?
I would say that if you guys are looking for Cardano education, just subscribe to my channel. I do AMAs usually bi-weekly where you guys can ask me any questions. We also have a Discord server where you can ask me questions personally. If you guys really do like Cardano, make sure you come out to the Rare Bloom event. I'm hosting an event for the Cardano community. We have a lot of great people coming. We have Ben Gortzel coming, SingularityNet, SDAO, Sunday Swap, Charlie 3, IOG, Kaizen Crypto, myself, Drip Drop. So many great members of the community are going to be attending the event. So if you guys want to check that out or you have any questions about it, feel free to let me know. But yeah, thank you for having me on. I really appreciate it. I enjoyed the interview.
It was a pleasure to have you. Now, if anybody wants to follow you or to have more information, they have your Twitter in the description and they can follow you on Twitter. So thanks today, Peyton, for being today with us. It was a pleasure talking with you about all the things we talked. So probably in the future, we'll have maybe another interview talking about the future. We will see. So thanks for being with us today. And I think this is the end of the interview.
Awesome. Thank you
Perfect.
again.